Hi, welcome to educator.com and another lesson in Adobe Illustrator CS6. Today we're going to talk about perspective. More specifically, we're going to talk about using their perspective tool and the grid. Now, if you don't know perspective already, you're going to be very frustrated with this lesson because this is not a magic tool to help you to learn how to do perspective. Okay, so I would suggest that you not think that this is going to be a substitute. So you'll get very frustrated. This lesson won't be for you. And so if you want to get some pleasure out of this, go into a room, lock the door, and read a book on perspective. Okay, so let's start. First thing I want to do is color the perspective grid, and there are two ways to do this. I can do it here from this box, or I can go here and get the perspective tool coming up. All right, now there are different tools that you can use that are default. You have 1 point, 2 point, and 3 point. Also, you can define the grid. Now, so here, you can select the scale that you want it to be, 1 to 1, is what I'm using, and you can change that to whatever ratio you want. You have a grid line every 50 points. Change the viewing angle, the viewing distance. So if you know some math, you can work all that out in your head, and you can change the grid colors, and also you can change the opacity. Okay, now, let me show you. I have some grids that I've already preset, and again you can say presets. So here's a preset that I have. So here's for 1 point perspective. Okay, so you can see that here. Also there is 2 point. Now, so you go to 3 point first. So here's another one. Okay, so again, these are presets that I set up. So now let's go to, and again, the defaults are here. So now let's go to 2 point. All right, so here's a 2 point perspective grid. This is your box here that lets you select the planes that are active. So you can select here with the left or right or horizontal grid. Also, you can use the keyboard. So for the horizontal, I can select the number 3 to go to the horizontal grid. Did I hit the right one? Okay. Okay, so 1 is left, 2 is the horizontal, 3 is the right grid, and 4 is none. Okay, so let's go back there. So now the left grid is in yellow is the yellow color here, and it corresponds to the colors. And you can change the colors as you want, as I just showed you. Okay, so now let's I'm gonna have to zoom out a little bit so I can show you what's here. Let's see if we get a little bit tighter there. Okay, that's good. Okay, and all these points are only available once you have the perspective grid tool selected. Okay, so this is your horizon line, and you can change that by pulling here. And this is the ground line, and you move the whole everything with this one. And these little things are called widgets. So you have your diamond shape, your open circle, and you have your double circle widgets. Okay, now with these double circles, you can actually move the plane. So that's the left plane, that's the right plane, and this is the horizontal plane. So You can put these where you like. I mean, this can even overlap, but they don't have to be exactly like that on top of each other. But we'll just keep it here for today's lesson. Okay, now, and here's a grid here that doesn't seem to do anything. Is this a bug? No, it's not a bug. I will show you what it is. So, but in any case, it changes the planes of the grid here. Now, let me show you how this becomes a little bit more active, because you see there's a number of grids here that you can change in the settings. But now you can create more. You create less, I should say. Create less of a grid, and now you can pull this farther back than we were able to do before. Okay, so you need less grid to pull this farther back toward the horizon. And it's never going to go all the way to the horizon. And really you don't want to, and you don't need it to, because also it's saving you a lot of aggravation, because as these get closer to the horizon, lines get closer together, you can't see them anyway. So don't worry about it. So let's, okay, so I think I've shown you everything here. One more. So you pull this widget to change the height. Okay, so now I think I have shown you everything here. All right. Okay, so now let me show you how to map. So let's get this back to a close view that we can see. Get rid of that. And now, when you want to map something to the perspective grid, you have to choose, you can't do anything without this perspective selection tool, so you have to choose that. So you have something that you want to map to it, you drag it up, and always go to the active plane. So right now, the left grid is active. So if I wanted to drag something to the right grid, now I would drag it there. And if I went to horizontal grid, and I drag it there. So you see automatically defaults there. Now, these are for shapes that are already created. Suppose you have you want to draw a shape, which you should want to do since this is a drawing program. So let me just get, okay. So now, oops, this is on horizontal grid, so it's above the horizon line, so you're not going to see that there. So here's where you would see it. But check this out. Because it's still, this is the plane that's being done. Even though we don't see a grid up here, it's still drawing in the dimensional space, so which is pretty cool, because now you don't have all these lines, you know, just confusing everything. All right, so let me put something here. Now, even after it's drawn, you can still, whoops, you can still modify it with the selection tool. But unfortunately, it's not attaching, so be careful. All right, so you want it to still look like it's in perspective. Now, and that's one of the peeves I have, because if you use the selection tool, you don't get, when you move it with that, it doesn't stay. So what you have to do is stay with your perspective tool. Okay, so when you modify it with that one, with the perspective tool, then it stays in the correct perspective, which I already messed up. Okay. Now another thing is that if I move this, again, it doesn't move in perspective if I use the direct selection tool. If I use the perspective tool and move it, it moves and stays in perspective. Now another beef is that this is still a 10 or 8-point line. So if it's really going back in perspective, that should change. You know, so that's not a good thing either. So again, this is not so substitute for drawing. So be careful. So if you do something like this and move it back, so I held down the Option key to make a copy, so that works. you're going to have to make adjustments, so that you have something that works. So let me just temporarily hide the grid here so you can see what's going on. Okay, so these objects are all in perspective. The grid isn't needed, so this is what happens. So again, I had to change this to make it look, and that's probably not right. If I was drawing this, I would figure out, the correct way the correct look for what I would want it at. Okay, so this is how you map art to the plane. Oh, one more thing I want to show you. Okay, no, that's it. Yes, so we started. So I'm jumping a little bit ahead. So let me just cross off. I've shown you how to map art. And show you how to create an object. Now let me show you how to create a line. Well, you already know how to create a line, so you just draw. Whoops.